Hi, Josh. We're back for some more vanilla Minecraft. I have been working in this area just a little bit and trying to clear out some of this grass so that we can see what we're working with. And I'm using a water bucket and I'm coming through and just doing this. You know, it's the quickest way to clear out grass. Well, when you get too close to an edge, the water flows toward the edge, right? I came over here and I was clearing out grass and it all started flowing into this hole. And I thought, just like with this hole right here, I better run downstairs and light all that up so that I don't create a massive dark area for mobs to spawn in and come attack my villagers. And so I tried to do the same here, and it turns out to be pretty deep. Came down here, and it's still not, I feel like it's sufficiently lit, but there are still a couple spots that look kind of dark, especially because the water washed out some of the torches. And then I came over here, and if you come around this corner right here, I saw some cobblestone. And it turns out to be the best kind of spawner, a zombie spawner. And then I turned around, and there's another one right here. And it's also a zombie spawner. And I don't know if you noticed while I was walking toward it, it started spinning. That one's spinning. And if we turn around without moving, that one's also spinning. We could make a double zombie spawner right here. And the reason all this cobblestone's up here is because this was roofed in sand. The river is right here. Our library is right there. Like straight ahead. This is exciting. I'm so excited to have, I was excited to have a zombie spawner. And then I turned around to finish lighting up the cave and there was a second one. I think this is a dead end down here. It just kind of peters out. But two zombie spawners. Oh, this is going to be a great... Oh, there we go. It's... How far away can I get from this one? There it is. Okay. So we've got 2 or 3 blocks worth of space that we can move around, and they're still going to be active. That's awesome. So, given that we just stumbled into a potential double zombie spawner rotten flesh farm, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this place up. I'm going to build out a double spawner, and I'm going to try to make a way to switch between automatic and manual. And I am going to build a massive storage area for rotten flesh, because if we can just leave it on auto and go to bed for the night, or go to work for the day, we can collect an absolute shit ton of rotten flesh. And then the next building that we can build for our villagers will be for clerics. And we can get so much experience from just trading rotten flesh away to clerics. So I think that's what we're going to do today. Before we get started on today's project, I wanted to show you the progress that I made off camera on last episode's project. I'm sure you can already hear it, right? You know what's going on in here. This place is full. And it feels great to be done. This is not a ton of work. It's not bad, difficult work. It's just a grind. Making sure that you have every trade is such a grind. And we have every trade. I'm really, really happy that this is over, and I'm really proud of how this place turned out. With one fence post above their heads, and one to either side, and a lectern in front of them, these guys are perfectly content to just stand still in place until the end of time. I'm not necessarily satisfied with all of the prices that I got on all of these books, but I have to constantly remind myself that this is not a multiplayer server. I'm not trading these to try to make a profit and sell these or trade them away. These are all personal consumption. So at most, I'll probably only need a handful of any given book. Like, I think Mending is probably the book that I have bought the most of, and I've already bought all of them. So, you know, anything else that we want to get, like Riptide or Channeling or Loyalty for a Trident, or, you know, a new Unbreaking book for a new tool or something, you know, we can pick any of that up at any given time. And this place looks so great now that it's full. I'm very, very happy with how this place turned out. I hope you are too. And now I think it's time to get to work on our next project. Looking around here, you wouldn't really know that we're done with the spawner, would you? Well, we're not 100% done, but come downstairs through this little hole with me, and we'll take a look. It's not completely done, obviously. I still need to make an actual proper entrance, but here is what we've got done so far. I need to finish this room, I need to make it look nice, and I need to activate both spawners, but I have them completely carved out down to the water, and I have lift chutes in place. You know what? I'm just going to take you through it. So, they will get washed down this way. They'll come up this lift chute, and this one meets the other lift chute right here. And they'll drop out right here. We need to seal both of these up. We need to somehow decorate this room, probably lower the ceiling. We need to put in storage, which I think we're going to put right over here. And then we need to connect the drop system over to the storage. For now, we just have a dropper into a chest because I want to seal up both of these rooms and activate the spawners and get this going. You can see a little bit of glitchiness here. That is a hopper minecart under this slab. I still want to install a switching system so that we can switch between automatic and manual. If we stand in this spot right here, or in this spot right here, opposite corners, both spawners will be active. If we stand in the other corners, one or the other won't be. The reason that we don't have a bigger area to hang out in to keep both spawners active is because I wanted to drop this as low as possible so that our lift chute could do as much damage as possible. It's still not enough to bring them down to one-hit kill, so we will be using our sword, but I brought it up as high as I could without breaking through the surface. So the surface level is at, I think, 63, Y63, and we got the ceiling of their movement chute from this lift chute and this lift chute all the way up to where there's just one block of dirt. So if a creeper ever goes off over there, we're going to have to rebuild it quick, otherwise we're going to have zombies flowing through and catching on fire. But other than that, we're ready to go. So I'm going to seal these places up, I'm going to make them dark, and I'm going to set this up so that they start spawning. Okay, so I've darkened both rooms, but I'm not going to seal them up yet because when we decorate, the wall that we're setting up to decorate this place is going to run right here and right over here. So I want this to be whatever material we make the walls out of. So, wow. Good group. 4 of them? That's fantastic. As you can see, even the babies are contained, which is fantastic news. And we are going to get so much experience out of this place. We may need to do something about this. Things are going to drop to the side, so we need to stand here. We need to stay right up against this block in order to keep both of these spawners active. But as you can see, things are already coming through. That's from me, but these are all from those guys. Look, a little bit of iron. Hey, now let's see if these guys actually come through, because for now it seems like they are getting stuck in those in the water tracks. That's not great. So I might have to hello. Oh, you picked up a torch. Thanks, I'll take that. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on everything going on here to make sure that I'm tracking what these guys are doing, how quickly they're coming through, and if there's any situations that I can clean up. But for now, we're doing all right. And even though these guys are flowing in slow, partially because I haven't sealed the rooms, and partially because I imagine they're getting caught up in the water channels or something, despite all that, I think that this is still going pretty good compared to the spider spawner. So, now that we've got the zombie spawner going, I think that it's time to get started on wherever we're going to put our clerics. And I already have an idea, so let's see if we can pull it together. I have positioned myself up on top of this piece of shattered savanna to show you the hill behind the brownstones, the townhouses, our main storage base. Here is where I think we're going to put our clerics. I've built a retaining wall around this hill, and it's going to go higher. We're going to level this whole place off, and we're going to build a monastery up here. I did a little bit of Google searching, looking for inspiration, And I discovered the monasteries at Meteora, which is in, I believe, Athens, Greece. And they have some gorgeous hilltop monasteries. And I'm kind of combining several different monasteries together for this idea, but I did find one that was up on a very steep hill, kind of a cliff, and it had this beautiful retaining wall, and the material for the wall kind of blended with the material of the hill or the cliff. And so, we've got stone and andesite, and I decided that I was going to do that. I will texture this wall. It won't be all straight stone, but I wanted to kind of blend it in with some of the materials that we can see down here. I wanted it to look like it was a natural kind of evolution or flow of the material of the hill. And when we bring it up, I'm gonna tear down this hill right here, this chunk, because our monastery kind of cuts into it, as you can see. And I'm going to bring the level of this stuff up to match the point that we're going to leave all of the actual structure at. And this sand outline is what I've got together so far for the monastery. It's kind of big, and we're definitely not going to need all of the space for the clerics that we're going to put in here. But I did want to incorporate our wizard tower. I might change the structure or the materials of the tower a little bit, but I guess we'll see as we build out the monastery. And I might add more to it. Like, for instance, there's a lot of room back here between the wall of the monastery and the retaining wall back there. So I'm going to level that off, and I might make like a garden out here, or I might make little stables or barn or something. It won't be our main area to keep animals, but I feel like a monastery would have its own little animal husbandry area, I think. So we'll see what I can come up with as we go along. But I'm going to get started on the structure. I'm going to try to level this hill out and start building the monastery. Why don't we just jump into a time lapse and see what we can get done? The last couple time lapses have been talk-free, so I thought I'd take this chance to chat through at least a little bit of this one. This project was even bigger than the Grand Library, and this retaining wall on the hill was absolutely the least of it. Once I finished the wall and leveled the ground inside it, the scale of the project in front of me kind of intimidated me, and I took several days off just to work up my nerve. In fact, I even took the time to completely fill in the terrain inside the wall, so there are no gaps in the ground to spawn mobs that we'll have to listen to every time we're in the area. It really bit into our dirt and grass supply, so I'm glad I'm a bit of a resource hoarder. I sat down after work one day, put in my earbuds, and started some music. I thought this building would take me a few hours, and we'd get 2 or 3 minutes of slow-paced time-lapse out of it. 6 hours later, however, I realized my stomach was grumbling, my bladder was screaming, and the cats were wondering if I was ever going to give them their bedtime treats. If you watch me zipping around the screen, you can get a sense of how compressed this time-lapse is. Even better, watch the animals wandering around inside the structure. Minecraft animals usually mosey pretty slowly, but they are absolutely frenetic here thanks to time compression. We're averaging a little over an hour per minute in this time-lapse, so I hope you won't ever accuse me of not putting enough work into these episodes. I'm very proud of this project, or at least what we've gotten through so far. There's still so much work to do on the interior, and I don't even want to think about the villagers yet. I do have a solid idea of what I'd like the inside to look like, so at least there's that. However, I should stop babbling at you and get back to work. I hope you enjoy the rest of the time-lapse, and I'll catch up with you for a detailed tour at the end. Hi there. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the time lapse. I told you that I was going to give you a tour, and the first thing that I wanted to show off was that mysterious gold thing that I was putting in here. I decided that every church or monastery needs a big-ass bell. So I hung a bell. It's nothing special. It's not great. But, you know, we're just working with gold blocks here. You can't really do much with those. But, you know, what the hell? Why not? Big-ass bell. I'm thinking about tearing out, you know, one of these planks or slabs or whatever these are, and putting a like a ringer and a big long rope or something made out of fence posts. But I don't know. It's probably not necessary. We don't need full immersion. The next thing we've got over here is this tower that you briefly got to see as I kind of lowered the view in the time lapse, and then we zipped off to do other stuff. I love how this turned out, and it looks super cool at night. I tried to keep the lanterns up high enough that it lit up this whole ceiling, and a few of them low enough that it lights up most of the ground. And, I'm sure you saw them, and I figured that I would actually mention it. Yes, I did use droppers and pistons in this design, and that is because I think that texture looks fantastic. So, we've got some mesa trees kind of woven into the structure or the wall of the other building over here. And I think that... Hello? What the... Oh! That's the melon and pumpkin farm! I forgot we were so close to that. That's funny. Okay, man, that startled the hell out of me. Uh-oh. Well, this is not... That's not supposed to be there. There. This thing has to look solidly grounded. We can't be having dirt. Like, this dirt doesn't have anything on top of it. That's fine. But I don't want any dirt where it looks like the wall just stops. I want it to look like it's anchored properly in the ground. So, this building over here, and this is part of what I was talking about when I said I had a pretty solid idea of what I want the interior to look like. This building over here is going to be the chapel. We're going to make this up to be kind of like a church on the inside, I think. And then the rest of it will be like the clerics' living quarters and their big, library where they study. And I don't know, there doesn't need to be a ton of lore, but I do want this to be like a chapel. I think that would be really cool. This up here is it was just meant to be like the entry gatehouse, but I didn't want it to be like a guardhouse. So I made it a little seating area. Put a little couch up here so you can, meditate or ponder nature or whatever. I don't know what clerics do. They study, right? That's all they do. But I also wanted to just have, a nice area where you could sit, air quotes, and just view the town. Because, lore-wise, it feels like maybe a monastery on a hill should be one of the older things, and maybe the town grew up around it. And so, I wanted this to be kind of maybe a new add-on. They added on this little, like, guardhouse-looking thing, this little tiny tower, where people could come and sit and look at the view of the town that has grown up around the monastery. So obviously, if this place is going to be like a church-type chapel, I don't want to leave it where you can see all the weird brickwork and the pistons and everything. I don't want to leave a grass floor. I don't want to leave, a hole where there's skeletons coming out and attacking us. No attacking parishioners. Bad skeleton. Bad. So I'm probably going to put a fancier roof on it. I'm definitely going to put a fancier floor on it. And we are going to coat the walls in something so that it doesn't look like it's just a thin brick wall to the outside. I'm thinking maybe concrete, maybe quartz, maybe smooth sandstone. I'm not sure about that. I said I had a solid idea. I didn't say I had a concrete idea. Concrete. Ha, 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 ha. We might go with concrete. I have a bunch of concrete powder. Maybe we'll use that. We might wet it and make it solid concrete. I'm not 100% sure. All of this is getting covered up, and I think over here, where this meets the rest of the building, I think I'm going to build a wall, like here-ish. And maybe this is where the, I don't know what the stage is called in the front of a church. The thing that where the preacher stands. I don't know if the wall will be here or if it'll be over at that extent, because this building does go all the way out to here. But, this is where it starts meeting other things, so I'm not sure about that. I might put the stage thing, like, here, and then, like, this could be, like, the area for the choir to hang out or something. I'm not 100% sure on that either. But I do know that I want to make a wall here-ish, somewhere in this area, so that we can separate out where the clerics, quote-unquote, live. Meaning where we're going to have them trapped in cells so that we can trade with them. I'm probably going to chop out I found a creeper hole. Thanks for the terraform assist, creeper. I'm probably going to chop out some of this ground and level this out kind of low, maybe at that level, and then we will have plenty of room to put in clerics. And I'm thinking I might coat these walls with something also, and then we can put the clerics in individual cells in maybe a more rectangular or squarish pattern so that they're not round, because that sounds like a nightmare. Trying to fix up villager enclosures in a round building does not sound like fun. So also we've got the part of the wizard tower that sticks out here. I might chop into this actually. My hotbar is still a mess from all the materials. Oh, right. There's a torch there. We might chop this out so that we have a little bit more room over here. We did have a couple leaks. I'm sure you saw it during the time lapse when I was renovating the wizard tower. Some of the water leaked out, but I think all of it went outside and none of it came in here. Although I don't know why there wasn't a torch already on the ground here. Anyhow, might chop away this chunk of the wizard tower wall because it's all interior now. There's no reason to leave that there. And now I think we should go out and check out the rest of this area. As you saw in the time lapse, and as you can see here, we did renovate the wizard tower a bit. There's still a lot more cobblestone in this one than there is anywhere else in the rest of the monastery. And I feel like we can explain away a lot of that with lore. The monastery came after this tower. Maybe this tower was the first thing. It was already ancient and crumbling when the clerics came along to build their monastery. And so they just fixed it up so it wouldn't fall down, and then they, they renovated the upper portion of it because the upper portion was almost completely cobblestone, right? So, they came along and installed new bricks where they could, and they gave it a new roof, and now it looks good. It looks, like it's part of the structure, but it's always been here, and they just kind of built their structure around it. I don't know. It's an interesting story in my eyes, so I kind of like it. We've got the rest of this building over here with a totally different roof type, and that is because I feel like we can explain this long chapel building as an add-on. So, like, maybe the clerics found that wizard tower, and then they built this big thing to be like the place they live in, and they have this tower up on top, and then they built this tower over here. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know why they would build a tall tower, but a lot of monasteries have towers, so screw it. Let's have a tower, right? And then eventually they were like, oh, hey, there's a town growing up over here. We should have somewhere where we can do services. Let's build a chapel building. And now they've got a chapel building, but it's got a slightly different roof. Maybe, they didn't have that material anymore. I wanted to use red sandstone for these roofs because to me it's very reminiscent of those, like, what are those roofs called with the orange tiles? You see them a lot in Southern California. I don't know what the name of the tile is, but I love the look, and I thought that it would work in a mesa. We've got a lot of this orange tree already, so why not have these orange tiles on the roofs? And then I guess when they ran out of that material and decided to build this new structure, they just went with the wood that they had readily available. Plentiful mesa trees growing up around here. And I had to chop down a legitimate, serious amount of mesa tree just to flatten this plateau and build these buildings. So, there's that. I haven't replaced this with grass because I'm still not 100% sure if I want to level these 2 blocks of further hill, or if I want to build up a little bit more hill to go right up against the wall of the building. I'm thinking, I was thinking that I wanted to just kind of make it, rebuild the hill here a little bit and just have it kind of butting up against the building. But I am thinking that I do want to level all of this stuff out and do what I mentioned before the time lapse and just kind of make like a little bit of an animal husbandry area. And that's mainly because there's a whole bunch of animals up here already, and they're never going to despawn, and there's no reason for me to kill them if we can just put them in, a little enclosure and make it, give some lore reason why they're up here, instead of just this is where they spawned. I am probably going to close this up, or completely dig it out. I'm not positive about that, actually. I like the idea of them having their own little pond up here. A freshwater spring for them to have a water source, a drinking water source. And I think I'm going to leave a bunch of this hill because this building is kind of built up onto it, and it makes it seem like, they stabilized this hill so they wouldn't have any landslides that would knock over their building, but they didn't see a reason to tear all of this down if it was already here. I am going to drag all of the animals out from the inside of here out into whatever enclosure area we make. And I think that I might leave a lot of this with the tall grass, leave it a little bit wild looking. I might even add some tall grass over here because there's no reason for them to have a nicely manicured lawn, If they've just got nature areas where they can wander around, that's fine. But I actually might leave some of it bare over here because it makes sense that they would keep the grass trimmed very short near the edge of the cliff so that nobody ever doesn't see it and just kind of, oops, wanders off. I think that this is a fantastic addition to the area. I think that it gives it more life and more history. I think that, the only reason I built the brownstones first is because I needed a place to sleep safely and somewhere to store all my shit. And it seems like they would be the most recent addition, People don't build townhouses before they build, the rest of a city. I think that this area is getting fleshed out. I'm really, really happy about that. So I think that I'm going to call it here. And we're going to call this an episode. Next episode, I will have this place finished up on the inside. I won't promise you that I'll have villagers in there because I'm so tired of dealing with villagers. It's such a pain, and it takes so long. But I will have the double zombie spawner finished before next episode. So when we start the next episode, I'll show you what this place looks like on the inside. I'll show you what the double zombie spawner looks like on the inside. And we will get into whatever our next project is. We've still got that whole area over there that I can work on. And we've still got this area over here. And I have ideas for both, along with this area right here and this area down here below us. Like right over in here. So, we will figure out next episode what we're going to get into. For now, I will say, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll talk to you soon, brother. I miss you.